So in 2020, I thought I would do my New Year's resolutions a little bit different, and that year I decided to do a monthly challenge every single month. Together with my cousin, we made a list of possible challenges that we wanted to do, that we would learn something from, and one of the things that was important for us was that we needed to get better from every single challenge. So without further ado, let's get into it, and I'll list 7 of the challenges that I think were the most interesting and also what I learned from them. The first challenge being, we did a plank challenge. So for 30 days, we had to do a plank for every single day. And we started at, I think, around like 30 seconds or something. But the last day, we needed to do a 5-minute plank. This challenge really stuck with me because it was, I think, one of the most difficult ones. So it started pretty easy, but I think around halfway, a bit past halfway, it got really hard, probably around like the 3-minute mark or something. At that point, I needed to come up with like tactics to make this work for me. So one of the things that I did was basically first thing in the morning, straight when I got out of bed, I would do my plank and just get it over with, do the hardest thing to start my day. And like they sometimes say, eat the frog, first thing in the morning. The second one we did was 1 month without alcohol. This was also one that really stuck with me because it made me basically more productive. Now, in general, I try not to drink during the weekdays, only in the weekends. These days, even only on Friday and Saturday. But if you don't drink at all for an entire month, you really gain a lot of productivity because usually after you drank something the night before, you will feel a bit tired the next day and not as productive in general. And I think I even did that challenge a bit longer than 1 month, but also because it's like, they say like social lubricants. Eventually I started like consuming some alcohol again. And for example, like one of my social activities is a weekly wine evening. So that makes it a bit hard to really drink nothing at all. Although it's something that I'm still debating every single week if this is something that I should get rid of, because I mean, I like my wine, but I don't know if the disadvantages weigh up against the advantages of like the social part. Then the third one was also a really interesting one because that was one where we did an entire month of clean eating. Now, what does this mean exactly? We define clean eating as eating no processed foods. And actually when you have to do this for a month, you really notice like how hard it is to just find the organic foods, the whole foods in everything that you eat on a daily basis. Sometimes it's just in the small details, but it can be really hard. But it's definitely one that I've been more mindful about since that I did a challenge. So it's something that really stuck with me, and I still try to eat mostly whole foods, although this will depend if I'm, for example, at home and do my own groceries and do my own cooking, or if I'm at the office every single day where I need to go to the restaurant and eat something, that makes it really hard to just get like whole foods. So it depends on the moment, but whenever I can, I try to still be mindful about eating clean and eating whole foods. The fourth one was about reading on a daily basis. Now, this is one that we have to try 2 times because the first time we made a mistake. We made a challenge reading 1 book every week. So that was a monthly challenge, like reading 4 books. Fair enough. But this made it pretty hard because during the week you would say like, I don't really have time today. I'll just postpone it until the weekend and I'll read for like multiple hours then. But eventually you are not doing that. So this challenge failed miserably and we tried to revisit it. So at the time, I was reading the book about atomic habits, and in this book they describe how it's better to have like a more routinely challenge, or like a more of a routine to change your habits better. So we did another challenge and we said like, okay, we will read for 30 minutes every single day. And this actually worked because mapping out 30 minutes in your day, blocking those off in your calendar, making sure that you read those 30 minutes, that's fairly easy. You still need to plan ahead to make sure that it will happen, but it's fairly easy. Whereas if you have like the bigger goals, usually you will fail because you try to do like everything at once at the end, and that doesn't really work. The fifth one that stuck with me as an interesting one is doing 10 minutes of mindful meditation on a daily basis. I really like this challenge because I noticed an improvement in how focused I was during the day by doing this mindful meditation, although I not always did it in the morning, like I would do it at different times in the day depending on how my day looked. But although it was pretty hard to actually do it because you literally have to do nothing for 10 minutes, it did have a positive impact, but somehow I didn't continue to actually do it. And that's something that I'm still thinking about. Maybe it's something that I will pick up again in the future, but I would say it's definitely worth giving it a try and see what impact it will have on your life. Then the sixth one, and this was especially interesting since this was right at the beginning of the situation that we had over like the past 2 years, if you know what I'm talking about. But it was doing a walk or run for 30 minutes every single day, preferably without a phone. And I think most of the time I did it without a phone actually. And this especially was important then because it allowed me for like a daily reset where I was not thinking about work, and basically was also like kind of a mindful exercise, but then linked with some like physical exercise as well. And I think this really helped me through those first couple of months, because this is definitely a habit that sticks. Maybe not on a daily basis, but definitely something that I did on a regular basis. Right now I'm still running every other day for about 30 minutes, but this is really important for me, and it's also something that will like basically reset and clear my brain, and it will make me more productive in general. And then last but not least, waking up at 5 a.m. every single morning. Now, this is something that also stuck with me, because if the gyms are open at 6 a.m., which because of like current regulations isn't always the case, but if gyms are open at 6 a.m., I tend to go to the gym at 6 a.m. every single morning. And usually I wake up around 5:30 to first get a head start to my day, make sure that I read my first emails first, I respond to some messages, and just get a head start of the day. And like those first hours, and especially starting your day with going to the gym, they really help me being better at basically everything that I do, because the gym specifically gives you like an energy boost to start your day, which is way better to me than, for example, going to the gym in the evening, where it will give you an energy boost right before you need to go to bed. This is something that I did in the past, but once I tasted the difference, I can't really go back to like going to the gym in the evening anymore. So I think starting your day early, I definitely wasn't a morning person, never really been, but it is something that I've been doing consistently like ever since we did that challenge, and it's for the better. So I hope these challenges will bring you some inspiration to try a challenge for yourself as well. And if you have any other interesting challenges, maybe you want to join you on one, let us know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!